And we're now delighted to be joined over the telephone by our guest for the afternoon, His Excellency Ambassador Raoof Saad, the former assistant to the Foreign Minister. It's a very good afternoon to you, Mr. Ambassador.
Good afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for joining us this afternoon. Let me start by asking you, sir, what is the significance of the Turkish Foreign Minister's visit today and his reception by President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi?
Well, I think this is the right question to be raised. I believe that we have to look at this visit, whether on a higher level or lower level context between Turkey and Egypt, from a deeper perspective. In other words, we have two agendas in the region, at least, right? A regional agenda and a bilateral agenda. On the regional agenda, I think that the region is confronting immediate dangers and a longer term risks. And it's only the regional powers that can confront these kind of risks and dangers are Turkey and Egypt. Look around, even if there are other original players who are really, they have the capacity, whatever, but you are looking at the commonality that the regional powers can enjoy and the impact and influence they can do. So, but I want to stress really one very important point.
Yes.
This relationship has come to this point of what I call a maturing point. After a long time of controversy, of misunderstanding, of problems, whatever, and we have to be very clear that thanks to our leadership, with the kind of patience, with the control of nerves, with the controls of events, and with avoiding what I call political impulsiveness, to provocative actions, and even the development that would endanger the national security of Egypt.
Yes.
Thanks to Egypt, we have been waiting, dealing with this matter with political maturity, this is really rare in our confused world, that how you be in the middle of so many dangers around the country,
yes,
and still you are able to maintain, with patience and with the confidence in your own people and in your calculated decisions that you reach this point. So we have to be very clear. It's not a compliment, but it's the realities of the situation where we are.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, from the regional perspective, that we are, the region is facing a very, very dangerous agenda run by a country that I call all the time, it's a rook country, all right? And it's been run by a person that he is trying to avoiding, to be in jail. I mean, this is their problem. But anyway, the problem is that he is not only considering, but he is engaged in plans already, declared plans. They are not hiding, any secrets.
Yes.
And there is no way that they can continue. But the only way in order to abort this kind of risky questions that would take the whole region into turmoil is the regional powers. And now you have two strong regional powers, and that's the next importance, because you'll find Egypt and Turkey either individually or jointly have an influence in every and each part of the region. So this is really something we have to go beyond what's out the declared statements, whatever, which is part of the protocol. But I think that's my analysis of the regional part. The second agenda is the bilateral. This is really impressive, because it's I mean, the target of $15 billion is not really something remote. It is very, very, very
attainable,
close to, very much doable and attainable.
Yes.
And here I want to raise a point, maybe the people don't see it much, that although we benefit as Egypt, from this growing relationship economically and commercially, but mind you that, the Turkey is benefiting largely because their bilateral relations are not confined to the bilateral channel, because they benefit very much from the free trade agreements between Egypt and Africa, between Egypt and COMESA, for example, and Mercosur in Latin America, and that helps a lot for them in order to increase their exports. My hope and my goal, in fact, that I want to have a more maturing and growing relationship, not only through these channels, but also through a kind of what I call joint ventures.
Yes.
Turkish-Egyptian joint ventures, in order to get to Africa, which is being subjected to the intervention, to the business approaches from old and new hands. But Turkey and Egypt have the what I call comparative advantage, not only relative advantage. They have the comparative advantage in order to get into Turkey, to Africa,
yes.
by two joint hats that they enjoy the accessibility of the African countries to both countries. And here I want to add one last point. I know your time is very limited.
No, go ahead, Your Excellency.
There is something very important. We keep talking about the soft power, but what I'm inviting the countries and all authorities, whether we are talking about the government, the private sector, the civil society, whatever, is what I call the marriage between interest and the soft power. And the born baby will be what I call smart power. And I think Turkey is very successful in this area. We are not that successful, let's be clear. We have a lot of what you call whether interest, whether soft power, but a need to integrate, to grow each, and to integrate the soft power with businesses. And you will see that the impact of the soft power will be immense. And because the Africans, I have been twice a special presidential envoy to Africa, and they have been always telling it either openly or in a hidden manner, where are you? Because we are, we need, an African face that we trust, and Egypt is on top of this country, plus Turkey, which has quite an influence, whether by commercial trade or even by soft power through art, through religion. I mean, it's important, not to politicize religion,
yes.
not to use religion, but in order to help, with the religion, how to clean up, the wrong ideas and concepts that are being exported to Africa.
Absolutely, Your Excellency. Now, Ambassador Raoof, let me also ask you about a very important issue that was raised several times, especially between the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Badr Abdel Atia, and his Turkish counterpart, where they both stressed, the convergence of views between Egypt and Turkey for their full and categorical rejection of the Israeli cabinet's plan for the full control of Gaza. How do you see this issue as topping the agenda of the talks and the unified stance of not just Egypt and Turkey, but all the Arab countries, as well as many countries all around the world?
Well, I think I referred to this in my introduction, but I think this is now the core of the relationship between Turkey and Egypt, because we are facing, as I said, very imminent dangers. And I think if you get into a kind of strategy that would govern a kind of joint approach, joint Egyptian-Turkish approach on the following level. One, on the regional level, including the Gulf. Let's be clear about that. How to exchange views and to see that we are not, I mean, the two countries are really not responsible for other countries' decisions, but in order to enlighten each other, on the possible dangers, not only on the level of government, but on the grassroots.
Yes.
I mean, you should not exclude that the grassroots cannot wait for that long to see what is happening, in the field inside Gaza and even the western area. Second is the most influential role is the American. Well,
yes.
that we'll have to admit that. We have to respect that. But not only that, we'll have to invest in that. All right, because it's sometimes you feel that the American officials need to learn, that not to go beyond the short-term approach and their agendas of having, paradises here and there, and see the possible consequences that will be post, this kind of agendas that would turn the whole region into a political, social, and economic chaos that will not hurt only the countries but will affect the whole world. And I think the lesson of the Red Sea and the impact on the Suez Canal has shown clearly, just one aspect in the region would have affected the whole world economy.
Yes.
Primarily the United States. And by the way, let me tell you something that not so many people know it. Number one priority for the Americans and the region is not, as people think, political, the Israeli security. No. Number one is the Suez Canal, because quarter of the American trade go through the Suez Canal. So that's the second level, and I think the Americans have enough patience, and I would suggest even wisdom to listen, and keep listening, keep trying, and with the kind I think we'll have to benefit from the Egyptian pharaonic wisdom in order to, and I think the past 3 years as before have shown. The third level is Europe. Europe is the most impacted and affected by the turmoil happening in the region, because there is the kind of neighborhood and the partnership between the EU and the countries, particularly in the Mediterranean area, is not only just a normal, it is a very special relationship, and that's why since the Barcelona process, the Barcelona Declaration in 1995, it looks like that they are trying to build the relationship through the partner association agreements. No, it's far beyond this, because for them they are the first beneficiaries of a lasting peace, and that's why they have been sponsoring the the process.
Absolutely right.
Then you have Asia, you have Japan. I mean, we have to organize a kind of global, well-planned approach between the two countries that will show the world that, with the political maturity and with the realities of the interests of the region as well as the world, I think we can change the situation.
Indeed. Your Excellency, Ambassador Raoof Saadi, former assistant to the Foreign Minister, thank you very much, sir, for your time and your insight.